At Aberdeen Proving Ground, the Program Executive Office Soldier had participants test the next generation squad weapons, XM7 rifle and XM250 automatic rifle, to evaluate the XM157, a fire control system using a 1-to-8 power optic with integrated environmental sensor array and ballistics computer to provide aiming assistance to the shooter. Officially, the XM157 is a magnified, direct-view optic with an integrated laser rangefinder, digital compass, environmental sensors, visible and infrared aiming lasers, ballistics solver, and digital display overlay with wireless communication. The device can be loaded with any ballistics data to support any current or future weapons. The optic runs on 2 CR132 batteries, operates for 250 hours on the low power mode setting, and will continue to function as an optic even without batteries. The optic setup requires little to no optics adjustments out to 300 meters. Beyond that distance, the shooter simply presses a button to instantaneously generate 3 aiming dots adjusted for that intended target, taking distance and other environmental factors into account for that exact shot. The next generation squad weapon fire control will be built by the Vortex Optics and Sheltered Wing Partnership, currently scheduled to produce up to 250,000 units over the next 10 years, projected at a $2.7 billion contract for the total. And here's why none of that matters. The first critical point, as good as this unit is, it does not eliminate basic marksmanship skill. You have to be able to hit something. All this device can do is adjust your point of aim. In a PEO soldier evaluation of distance shooting using data from combat operations in Afghanistan, along with a 2017 small arms ammunition configuration study, their key takeaway points were that aim error reduction has the highest impact on performance and that fire control is key. That's shot process, folks. Caliber isn't as important as once believed. It really comes down to the shooter. All this device does is help the shooter make some adjustments for things like elevation. That's it. The basic zeroing procedure militaries have been using since the black powder days sets a battle sight zero so that within a reasonable distance you can already ignore trajectory without any additional help. Every qualification course that uses a target like this, a full-size E-type silhouette, is purposely set up so that trajectory differences can be completely ignored by the shooter. This is also true on Marine Corps qualifications, which purposely uses oversized targets to be accessible to newer, more novice shooters. So for a fire control unit like this to be useful, you'd have to issue it to someone shooting well enough to exploit it. Reviewing official training records from the 82nd Airborne, not even their absolute best brigade could average better than about a 2/3 or 66% hit rate. Reviewing the same broken down by rank, a significant percentage couldn't even make Army minimum, and only a tiny group by rank could get to the 80% or sharpshooter level or higher. Most personnel were struggling to just do Army minimum, and this is in the 82nd Airborne, active duty infantry paratroopers. No matter how advanced or accurate a fire control system might be, it absolutely cannot help somebody that really is struggling to learn how to hold the rifle to begin with. Then there's this individual who was part of the so-called evaluation team. Notice how that suppressor is making direct contact with the barricade? That means you're putting direct pressure on it and the barrel, which absolutely will have an effect on point of impact, something a fire control system cannot account for. If you don't know how to hold a rifle shooting around a barricade properly to avoid this problem, how are you going to benefit from a fire control system? This is a big enough problem. I have a completely separate video discussing it at length. It's linked below. You need to go watch it. So the Army is spending billions of taxpayer dollars on a fire control system that not even 1% of our current force is skilled enough to take advantage of. I feel like we owe Vortex and the American taxpayer an apology for this.